Welcome everyone. It's lovely to see you again for another practice of our Chen style Lao Jia Yi Lu. That's the old frame long form. Let's take right hand in fist, please. Left hand straight, pulling back the thumb, feet together, hands together, and we press forwards. Lovely. So we're going to begin with our warm up. Let's open our stance and go into four corners. So within an hour, we want to make sure that we're fully warm and stretched. We'll go through the body of work and a little warm down at the end. You may see sometimes if you're surfing online to look at Tai Chi moves, you might see a move just demonstrated on its own. But actually to get the most out of it, you really need a warm up. And if we had time, we could really do with a half-hour standing practice on top of that as well. But within an hour, we can only fit in so much. So warm up should never be skipped, folks, if you want to look after your body. Even when I was doing Tai Chi as a teenager, if I skipped warm up, I found that I was injuring myself. So even though it's soft and gentle, we still need to prepare our system. So four corners, please. Now this exercise in itself, you could treat as pretty much a complete practice. You could do 500 little squares in each direction, which would take you about 25 minutes, maybe half an hour. But very, very useful for strengthening, for balancing out all of the muscle fibers, all of the different structures of this area, which is the important pivoting point that we use continuously in our Tai Chi practice. Let's change direction, please. So if you think, gosh, we're doing this a lot, no, we're not. We're only touching on it. But our Grandmaster swears by this exercise, and he feels that it has propelled his practice forwards in recent years. So, and he's, at the cutting edge of Tai Chi practice, but it's this exercise that he seems to think really does the trick. So make sure that you're within your hips. You're not pushing out. If you see, that's pushing out of the hips. You stay inside the hips. You're feeling into the four corners. You're breathing through it, preferably through the nose, and you're letting go through each part of the movement. Now, it should not hurt. So depending on what you're starting with, it could be hurting you. If there's arthritis or nerve damage or whatever it may be. So if it hurts, my rule of thumb is reduce the size of the movement. So what you can try it now with me, is think of letting your spine hang down like a pendulum and just drawing your tailbone around about the size of a postage stamp, a nice square postage stamp. So that's a smaller movement, but it's the same movement. But I often find if there is pain as you do this practice, by just reducing the size down just a little bit, it makes all the difference in the world. So smaller is better, but we need to make sure it's smaller and relaxed. The spine is hanging and releasing, swinging like a pendulum, rather than trying to control it to keep it small. We want to let go of that tension. Good, so that's a wee practice that you can play with. And even if you're not sore, just mix it up a little bit. Sometimes do it a bit smaller. If you can see, that's my focus now, is the postage stamp. But you can see that the movement is still explicit. You can still see it. It's just the focus has changed. And actually, it's really nice. For me, I've had a lower back pain out of nowhere, apparently, a day or so ago. And actually, I feel, even though it's better now, this movement is giving it relief, is giving further relief. So it can be like medicine if you do it right. Good, let's come back to center, feed the weight into one foot, and we'll begin our rotations. So keep the hips level, gently turning. Breathe and relax through the structures of your leg. Feel the spiral flowing. Good, and change direction. So think of this, Tai Chi is movement is medicine, but it should not be bitter medicine for the most part. It should be at least palatable. Shaking out, please. And it is better to use it as preventative medicine rather than curative. We can use it to bring us back to health, but if we keep doing our Tai Chi every day, let's change direction, please. We can prevent getting ill in so many ways in the first place. Breathe. How do we do this? Well, we're moving our body. So any movement actually will help. You can go for a walk, you can dance, you can do vigorous housework. That's all good. Excellent, shaking out. But more than that, Tai Chi brings this idea of wrapping and spiraling energy around our bodies. Let's do a little bend and release, drawing in and release. So circular movements are a very powerful tool within the repertoire of Tai Chi. So let's turn the waist, release, same side twice, and then the other side. So our turning, our twisting, our spiraling helps to wrap the energy, which means it's not just going up and down the meridians, it's actually fully integrating one at a time now. It's going all the way around and through the structures rather than just the path of least resistance. So all of our movements in Tai Chi, you will notice they're all circling, they're all spiraling. Nothing is just a straight line. We might go in a straight line, but we'll rotate something to get there. Good, let's come back to center and little circles of the arms with a wee bounce. You can think of the engine inside the belly. The intent is the circle. So the arms are circling. Inside the belly, there's that little rotation. And change direction. I was saying how important warm-up is, especially now that we're coming into the colder months. You can almost get away with a little bit less during summer when it's already warm. Let's open and close the chest as we circle shoulders. But as it's getting cooler, the body stiffens. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you'll notice in the winter, you need that little bit more movement before you feel totally free. Good, let's change direction, up and back. Breathe. Good, one at a time, turning in the waist. You'll notice we do different warm-up exercises depending on how I feel. Change direction. And as long as you are warm, as long as you have moved your body, and preferably have done a bit of rotational work, circles, then you're good to go. Good. And relax your arms down, circling the shoulders. Check in with yourself. We're not just putting ourselves through a bunch of exercises. With each exercise, we want to feel and notice how the body is responding. Good, change direction. I got a wee notice there saying my internet connection isn't great. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully the recording will be nice and clear. normally is. Good. One at a time. Breathe. And change direction. Good. So our body's never the same 2 days running. So each time we warm up, we're checking in, what are we working with today? And if there are aches and pains, if there is restriction, then we can accommodate and go up to, but not beyond that pain or restriction. Let's take a deep breath and lift. And let go. Good. And again, deep breath, lift. And one more time, deep breath, lift. Gently down the last time. Lovely. Let's float up the top of the head and relax. Chin towards chest. Gently release the head to one side and roll forwards to the other side. Breathing and relaxing into the stretch. Excellent, well done. Let's come back to center and float the head up. Relax down into your belly. Excellent. Just a little bit of stretching now, please. Let's float up through the top of the head, breathing in, over to one side, shaking and twisting the arm with the focus of melting and letting go. Breathe into it. Good. This requires practice, but it's a lovely practice. It helps everything feel nice and loose and free so that energy can flow. Let's float up, breathing in, and over to the other side, breathing out. Keep breathing as we twist and shake. Breathe. Very good. So yes, you may put a lot of work into toning your body, and that's great if you do that. With Tai Chi though, we do create tone, but we do it through relaxing the structures so that energy can flow through the structures more easily. Let's float up, breathe in, and relax down. And if energy is flowing freely, then all of the muscles, all of the structures can function at their peak, at their optimal, without really kind of struggling or having to push through slush, so to speak. So actually, if you look at a Tai Chi body, we tend to have a bit of softness to us, but still there is definite muscle tone, not like your kind of Hulk type bulging muscles. All right, let's do a little bit of a leg stretch. So we're going to step forwards with one foot, give some width, square the hips, forwards and back. And breathe. Good. Are there any clicks or crunches today? I click and crunch all over the shop, but that's okay as long as it's not hurting. There's just, yes, we're still warming. The fluid is warming up between the joints. It will get smoother as you go. Let's take the weight back, slide the hand to just above the knee, gently brace the front leg, lengthen the spine, and hinging from the hips, nose to toes. Keep breathing. Good, let's release and pull the toes back, taking hold, same side, hand to foot. Keep breathing. Good, relax the foot down, up you come, and change over. So we start again, nice square hips, front foot pointing forwards, and breathe. Row your boat. Notice you're coming underneath and up on your way forwards, and back and down on the way back. The body remains upright. We're not leaning. Using your legs. Again, think of the drive coming from your center. Well done. Feed the weight back. Sliding down to just above the knee. Lengthen your spine, hinging from the hips. Direct your nose towards your toes and breathe. Good. Pulling the toes back, taking hold, same side, hand and foot. Keep breathing, keep the spine lengthening. Beautiful, well done. Relax the foot down, up you come. Easing from your stance. Let's do a bit of a full body stretch now. We've shaken out the arms, we've stretched the legs. So let's lift up and stretch as if you're being lifted by the wrist, by a giant. And let's release belly, hips and knees and sit down. Let the tailbone hang down. We're going to lean into the hip of the raised side and press the other hand down along the line of the leg. Keep breathing. Let's look down past the fingers and feel that lovely stretch all the way along the one side. Keep the structure and look forwards. Keep breathing. The head position actually changes the stretch. And let's look up past the fingertips. That changes the stretch again. Oh, lovely lats stretch. Good. Keep breathing and release. And down. Well done. Whew. Now we better do the other side. Get a bit of balance. Ready? We're going to lift up. And as if you're being lifted by the wrist, that draws you up through your shoulder. Release belly, hips and knees. Allow the tailbone to hang down. Lean into the hip on the raised side. Stretch the other hand down the line of the leg and look down past the blade of the foot. Keep breathing. And look forwards. And look up past your fingers. Well done, recover. Ooh, what a stretch, isn't that lovely? Good, and you can see how much it is stretched by the angle of the clothing there. So now you can sort yourself out, ease from your stance. Good, I think we're well and truly warmed and stretched. Have a little bit of movement, check in with your body. Notice how you feel. Maybe do some knee ups, do some circles of your hips. Just check in with your body. Let's go inwards. 3 steps to help you regain your balance each time. Well done. I think we're ready to rock. All right. So today we're going to start with part 3. And in particular, I'd like to look at the what I call the wafty bit, or technical name is forwards and backwards tricks. So it is tricky in that it seems to just kind of float all over the place. But let's have a look at the arm movements. We're going to go into shoulder width or slightly wider and level and relax belly, hips and knees. Let's check our posture. Now we've totally not done any standing practice. So please keep up your standing practice in your own time. Even a few minutes a day will make a difference. But for now, we'll just take a moment to check our posture. Feel the top of the head floating up, the chin slightly down and back, and breathe and relax down through your body. Breathe and relax down through the legs. Now this is wider than standing practice, so you'll feel the structures taking the weight a little differently in the open stance. But actually you can do posture and alignment practice in any stance in Tai Chi. So sometimes you will be wider than shoulder width. Breathe and release, feel the weight going through the four corners of the feet, evenly let go down into the floor. Very good. Okay, so let's take one hand at a time. We'll take one hand away. We're going to float up, and as we float up, the hand rotates. Isn't that right? Yes, the hand rotates. So the palm finishes facing up and out. Now we're going to release the waist and allow the hand to gently scoop down. So this is a kind of silk railing. We turn and we roll the hands up, palm facing out, and turn. So it's most similar, I would say, to the silk railing 2 large spiral exercise. So it's a big movement, and the hand rolls up and turns as it's coming up. Do you see what I mean by rolling up? As you're turning your waist slightly, the hand is flipping over. And that creates a kind of protective bar. So if you imagine someone's going to whack you on the head, you turn your waist slightly, you roll the hand over as it raises, and that creates a kind of conveyor belt. It draws the force of the blow along and away. It spreads the blow across the 2 bones of the lower arm. And it draws the opponent into an open position. If you're drawing them as they're coming down, they'll be open so that then you can attack. So there's lots going on from the martial theory aspect with this movement. So you're not just lifting your arm, you're rolling it up. And then you're releasing, and the blade of the hand is coming down. So it is a full silk railing movement. Good, but it's bigger. It's protecting the head. It's bigger than the official silk railing 2 movement. Good, let's do exactly the same thing on the other side. So you're rolling up as you turn the waist and release. So a little bit of movement in the waist, roll up and release. Roll up, feel the energy going up the back, along the arm to the fingertips, and back up the arm down to the waist, back to center, roll up, release. Roll up, release. So with each roll up, the palm is rotating to face out. Not just out, but up and out. Good. All right, so when we add the 2 arms together, we have the yin-yang effect. So as one is up, the other is down. When you turn, if I'm mirroring, if you turn towards your left, the right arm rolls up and the left arm sinks down. If you turn towards the right, the left arm comes up and the right arm comes down. So you have this yin-yang effect. One is coming up, one is coming down. And this exercise is often mistaken for cloud hands for this reason. This is not cloud hands. It's not a special or fancy cloud hands. It's forwards and backwards tricks. That's the name of the movement. Good. So turn to roll up and release. Turn to roll up and release down and release. Good. So the hands are never actually passing the center line. If I were to do this exercise, it would be wrong, but if I were to do it without turning my waist, you would see that we're never actually passing the center line. We're going straight up, touching the center line and coming down the sides. So as we do this exercise, if it looks like I'm bringing my arm across my center line, it's an illusion. It's not actually happening. It's just a trick of the eye because I'm turning my waist. So in general, the right side looks after the right, the left side looks after the left, and the waist just turns. Good. And rest. Excellent. Okay, so now let's look at the movements with the footwork. Now, everyone interprets this a little bit differently. If you get a bunch of Tai Chi teachers together, even having trained under the same master, they will all do the movements slightly differently. And if push came to shove, they would actually probably not come to blows, but they would disagree about the breaking down of the mechanics. I've seen this happen many times. So I'm going to show you as best I understand the master's movements. I'd like you to go back to the Grand Master's video, have a look at how he does it, and decide for yourself if I'm doing it accurately to his specifications, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so there's a lot of angling and a lot of knowing when to step with this movement. So we're going to start from single whip position. So we're standing on the right, we've opened and we've relaxed down. We're going to go over to the hook and release, and over, back of hook, back of hand follows. We're going to lift the right toe, turning out the heel as we turn the waist, and bring the left foot in. So at this stage, we're actually facing, the body is facing the corner. As I say, this is contentious, but this is how I do it. So we're facing the corner. The right toe is pointing to the corner. The left toe is pointing forwards, level with temple and above the leg. So we're going to turn the waist and we're going to change the arms and we're going to step forwards left. We feed the weight forwards and we bring the right side in, and we're still facing the corner at this stage. Now we turn to face the front, arm change, and turn to face the corner again as we change arms. Now we're going to step to the side, which turns our body to the front, and do another arm change, this time to the left hand corner. We lift the right toes and turn on the heel, feeding the weight through. We're going to bring the right hand round and down and step forwards left, reaching forwards and up, level with chest height. Left leg is forwards, so left arm should be forwards. Right hand should be about level with the elbow. We feed the weight back. It's like a Lu movement, drawing the ball back. We circle, turning the waist, lifting the arms up. And as we turn on the heel, we're bringing the ball in front and we're stepping the right side through, sending the right hand away. Now we have apparent close up, roll back, feed the weight forwards, squaring into the right leg, and there's your apparent close up. And we finish with single whip, which is where we started. So you could do this on a loop just from there. And let's do that. So in the form, we only do that sequence once and then we move on. But for now, let's just have a play. Ready? And I'm going to take more space. Sorry, ready? Roll back. Up and over. Step through. Roll back. Good. Let's do it again. I'm going to start over here. See if I can manage without shifting for more space. Ready? And nearly. Good. And good. Let's do it once more. Then if there's any questions or comments, we'll have a look at them. And then let's do the whole form. How's that? Okay. So one more time, please. And stepping through. Good. And rest. Well done. Now, it's a really nice thing to do, to take one little section and just chip away at it. That we could do actually another 20 minutes of just that. And if we did that, you would be really good at that section by the end of it. Or at least by doing it with mindfulness, by being present with it, you would actually start to see if there was an issue, if there was an area where it wasn't quite right. You would at least identify that and be able to then work with it. So repetition is our key. We've been repeating the whole form, which is brilliant, but actually taking one little section and just polishing away at it can make that shine. And if you do that with each part of the form, just take one little bit each day and polish, my goodness, you can end up with a shiny form. But anyway, let's see, are there any questions or comments about that? Don't be shy. Oh, you're happy. I'm saying, okay, shaking head and happy. Okay, yes, Eric.
Yeah, I've heard it said by several people talking about this particular move, that the two moves like this, like that,
Yeah,
that's the wrong way around, isn't it?
doesn't
But
matter. Okay.
actually protecting your knee and protecting your head as you step forward.
Yes, yes. It is. It's very much a sort of guard movement. It's a roll bar, if you like, a protective movement. But what you just showed me there was kind of like this. It's not out, it's actually round the front. So yes, it is protecting the head, but if you go like this, if someone's coming forwards, you have to be very lucky to catch them at the same time. Whereas if you're coming up the front, if you need to, you can duck and you will catch that arm. So the movement is with the turn of the waist, the movement is coming up the front. Now, I'm sure when you were showing me that, you were focusing on protect, 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 but it's not this way, it's this way. You're protecting. Think of the arm as a roll bar, as a protective shield. It's your shield. So you're shielding all the way up through the front line. So if someone was coming in, you would protect. If they were coming from above, you would protect. And yes, absolutely, if they're coming in to attack maybe a kick or a push, yes, you're absolutely protecting the hip, the belly, the groin. That whole area is being protected with the arm forwards as well. So yes, absolutely, this is more of a protection move, I would say. It could also be used just like cloud hands, as a sort of leading someone into chin na, into locks. So you can lock someone. Once you have blocked, you can then grab them, rotate them, put them in a lock. So there is the potential to lock. So often Tai Chi teachers are not full-on martial people. We're not necessarily fighting all the time. Some of us are. Some of us have taken into Sanda and fighting aspects, very much so. I'm not. But just to be aware that any application that you're given is not the only application. These movements are designed as a framework to base applications on. So just like a house, Lao Jia means old frame. It is a frame of a house. It's not the complete house. So the form gives you myriad strategies that you can then adapt for fighting. So yes, it is a block and a block. It absolutely is. But there are potentials for many different applications, for many different ways of using these moves to protect yourself. And even the masters may not have plumbed the depths of all the different ways that you can apply these moves. But I'd say they're the ones to ask. They're the ones who have the most experience. And certainly they're the ones who have actually used it more in martial application. Some teachers, as I know, Victoria over in England, she's very martial. You know, she's done a lot of the actual contact side of things as well. I'm not so much, but I am aware that anytime I'm given an application, it's one of many. So yes, it's absolutely, and it makes a lot of it makes sort of obvious sense. You're protecting your head, you're protecting your body. Wherever your arms are, you have more protection. If there's a big space where there isn't protection, that's an issue. And so with this movement, you see it's very three-dimensional. You're turning and blocking so that everywhere where the arms are, you're getting protection in the body. So it's not just the head and the legs, everything between, because the arms are rising and sinking, you're getting protection in your flanks as well. It's that whole area is getting good protection. But well done. Yes, that's good to point out. Okay, folks, so shall we now have a wee look at the whole form? What do you say? We've got 15 minutes. Yeah, we're going to blast it then. We'll go through the whole thing. So today, let's just put it in context. We're going to go quite quickly through the form. Okay. Or would you rather do parts 3 and 4 more gently? What do you say? Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, 3 and 4 then. You're very good at parts 1 and 2. As I say, those are the parts that we have done from the beginning so many times. So parts 3 and 4. So we're going to start with after the kicks of part 2 into the whole wafty section. Nice, fluid, gentle movements. So we're going to begin facing the corner. And we're going to step to the side so we are on the diagonal in preparation for punch. Ready? And now we need space on the right. So part 4. for high pat on the horse. Relax to center. End game, we do our little circle. Gather to the left, turn the right shoulder back. Punching diagonally down. Now we're going to employ Master Chen's way of finishing the form for performance. So we kick and we step down facing the back, and now just swing the right foot back to bring us round, and then continue. Well done, everyone. And heel tap to finish. Excellent. So yeah, we got through that relatively quickly. Do you remember that we've started to do that end game, that very last section, slightly differently? Now, if all things being equal, we were just in a face-to-face class, we would finish facing the back of the room. That's a peculiarity of this form. So we start facing the front, we finish facing the back. So all things being equal, once you have turned, you do the kick facing the back, and you just continue on all the way to the end, facing the back. However, using the screen, I find that's rather uncomfortable for students to finish that whole section facing away from me. So what we're doing is we're employing Master Chen Yinjun's method, and maybe it's the Chen family method, as opposed to my method that I was doing before. I was doing a kind of circular kick. If you remember, I had you down here and then swinging the foot up and stepping down. I think there's nothing wrong with that, but actually the Master's way is easier and cleaner and less intrusive on the choreography of the form. So what he's doing from here, he just kicks and steps down. Let me show you a wee bit further away, sorry. Ready? So kick and step down, and simply swiping the back foot, quarter turn. So just keep your structure and do this quarter turn. And by doing that quarter turn, you're in exactly the same place. You haven't moved, basically. You've just turned the whole chess piece around, ready for the kick. So if you watch one more time, you can have a play with this. We kick, we step, quarter turn, oops, around, and continue. So it's not without its challenge to keep your structure Where are we? We've just done that. If you see it from the side, we keep the structure and we swipe the back foot around. Yeah. So it's a back swipe. And then continue on. Have a play with that, please, in your own time. But for now, let's warm down. Give yourself a moment just to chill out and let the muscles go nice and soft. Again, let's go down the legs. Knees, cup your hands slightly to make it a more comfortable impact. Down the legs, ankles and feet. Up the body again. If you have time now, going for a wee 10-minute dander, a wee walk, even around the house, but better still, wrap up, go around the garden, get some fresh air, go around the block, get some fresh air. Very, very useful. Taking 10 minutes to just gently move your body after your main exercise can reduce the recovery time to 0, that you're not feeling stiff or sore the next day. You climb up the hill, you do your work, and you climb down the hill, and you're grand. So well done. Little heel tap, please. Let the body bounce and wiggle. Keep the top of the head light. And stand. Breathe and listen to your body. Good, we're going to take 3 breaths. Ready? Floating up on the in-breath. And relaxing down on the out-breath. Deep breath. Suspend your breath, press your fingers into the sky, press your toes into the earth, think of sealing in your good energy into your body and breathing out, relaxing, guiding your hands to center. Hug your elbows gently in, calming down. Feeling the warmth, the touch of your hands flowing into your center. Feel your energy is stronger. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. Let's relax the arms down and we'll salute Xie Sang Ha. You can say Lao Shi Ha. Thank you very much, everyone. Well done, and I look forward to seeing you next time.